Welcome to Vishnu IAS Academy. Power star Pawan Kalyan has dropped another blockbuster, Harihara Veeramallu.
హిందూగా జీవించాలంటే పన్ను కట్టాల్సిన సమయం. ఈ దేశ శ్రమ బాద్షా పాదాల కింద నలిగిపోతున్న సమయం. ఒక వీరుడు కోసం ప్రకృతి పురుడు పోసుకుంటున్న సమయం.
గోల్కొండ నుండి 8వ వాడు బయలుదేరాడు. వాడు ప్రాణాలతో ఢిల్లీ చేరుకోకూడదు.
నేను రాసే చరిత్ర సింహాసనమా మరణ శాసనమా.
I'm not here to give any movie review, but I'm here to take you through the pages of history. But before I begin, let me give you a spoiler. This is not a story of expeditions. This is a story of resilience, and this is a story of how people of Telugu states came out of it with dignity. Let's go back to the times of Aurangzeb. We all know about his infamous Deccan expeditions. And with movies produced in Bollywood, we know what happened between Aurangzeb and the Marathas. I'm very happy that someone like Pawan Kalyan has made a movie about what happened to the Telugu states when brutality of Aurangzeb was unleashed. So the story goes, Aurangzeb wanted to come down to the far south. He wanted to annex entire India. In doing so, he has unleashed such brutalities which are missing from the pages of history. Aurangzeb's first and foremost target were the temples, because temples in India were not just a place of worship. They are a symbol of statecraft, culture, power, and architecture. Also the economy. Also the economy primarily revolved around the temples of the time. Aurangzeb, let me illustrate you with one example. The Vaistambala Gudi. It's very famous in Warangal. It's a beautiful temple. When Aurangzeb came there, what he did, he primarily desecrated the Shiva idol. And then, you know what he did with the dancers? He took each one of them and he seriously mutilated them. And the temple priest, let's not even talk about it. That's how cruel, inhuman his acts were. All the woes of the temple priests and the temple dancers are a well-known folklore in and around the area. We don't even have proper records. That's how terrorized people were. They didn't even maintain proper records. They couldn't maintain proper records. Second thing, what they did is that they imposed the jizya tax. We can talk about the origins later. It's a tax paid by the non-Muslims. Basically, the origin goes is that the Muslims pay one different tax, the non-Muslims pay a different tax. It's not supposed to be operational. He reintroduced an oppressive jizya tax, and when people couldn't pay, they were brutally whipped. According to historians like Satish Chandra, it was not just an economic strain, it was cultural and religious humiliation. So when someone was paying jizya tax, the generals and everyone, they could spit on them, they could treat them as someone lower to them. So it is not just an economic strain. This tax represented a cultural humiliation. Now let us talk about what he did with the woman. Aurangzeb imposed an Islamic law of war. According to this, women could be captured as booty. I don't know the name, my God. They are reduced as something less than an animal. That was their status. There were mass rapes of Hindu women reported. It's not just any other reports. European observers and Persian chroniclers like Kafi Khan, they have recorded in detail how these troops have enslaved women and how these troops have caused mass rapes. They didn't even spare children. Where is our culture where Lord Ram has performed the last rites of his enemies? What is happening here? Let me remind you, in India, there were always wars. But what these monsters have done is that they did not even spare corpses. That's why we saw many cases of Jauhar in the western frontiers of India. And even in the Telugu states, you can see many cases where women have killed themselves or set themselves on fire to protect their dignity. So this is what I'm talking about. They did not win. At the end, the women won. They protected their dignity. Now, as they say, when a great villain emerges, so does a great hero. Here, we have many great heroes. Let me talk about two such heroes. One, in Pawan Kalyan's movie, we get to see one particular hero, one particular story. But here, there are many tribes who fought against the Mughals with excellent tactics. To begin with, tribal communities like Koyas and Lambadas have used guerrilla warfare to counter Mughal caravans. They have successfully caused a significant harm on Mughals. That's the reason all the violence could be contained to a great extent. In Rayalaseema region, Rayalaseema polygars were very brave. They cleverly used hill forts, rocky terrains, and alliances with the Marathas to keep the Mughal forces in check. Here, let me tell you about women. Women have actively participated in warfare. They were frontline soldiers, they were skilled archers, food couriers, and spies. This debunks the myth that women in India are confined to their households. They never were. Because you need to understand that these Mughal forces primarily came for women. They humiliated them in each and every way possible. So the women took up arms themselves and they protected their own dignity. This is something every girl of this generation needs to learn from them. In the end, the turbulent time in Telugu state's history, where we frequently faced attack from the Mughals, has countless examples of bravery of Telugu people. I sincerely hope they will be explored further. If you have any such local legends, let us know in the comment section.